You can find plenty out on the C 2019 Y4 Atlas here. A lot of great amateur photographs. It looks kind of like the blue Kachina, the color of it, in my opinion. It's massive. It's getting bigger. It's going to be brighter. You're going to be able to see it with your eyes here shortly without even needing to use a pair of binoculars or a telescope. So that's awesome. This is the trajectory. This is the orbit, and this is starting today. So if I've got it on 6-hour intervals, and I'll just hit play here. I'll zoom in on this. You can see it's coming in. Just went past Mercury. Just went past Venus's orbit. Now it's curving back around. Says overcome your fear of freedom. Yeah, overcome your fear of freedom, because a lot of people do fear their freedom. Now, the radius of the sun is 432,690 miles. The Earth's radius is 3,958.8 miles. And this giant plasma ball, I think that's what comets are, essentially these giant plasma balls flying through the filaments of the universe, kind of like the synapses of the brain. When you have a thought, that synapse goes bang. Very similar. Now, I did in a previous podcast show, at least the 2D graphs models showed that Earth would be going through the tail of this comet approximately the beginning of December. But if you look at other models and 3D models, it looks like we should be okay. So we're dealing with a weakened magnetosphere right now, a very weak magnetosphere because of the solar minimum. So if we start getting a bunch of space debris and lightning bolts coming in with a weakened magnetosphere, what's that going to do here? I mean, that's probably going to have some effect. So that's good news. Let's hope Comet Atlas is now half the size of our sun. Ladies and gentlemen, Rex Bear League Project, how the heck are you? That's one big comet, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Now, they say it's only a few miles in diameter, but it's emitting so much gas that the atmosphere is literally half the size of the sun or 5 Jupiters. It's coming in fast. It was just discovered a few months ago, and we're going to look at the orbits. We're also going to look at the Y1 Atlas comet that isn't being talked about as much. Yet, if you go to the JPL website and look at the orbits, it actually shows that the other comet is the Great Comet. They say this Y4 is just the remnants of a great comet that's even different from the one that I'm going to show you in a moment. So we've got 3 comets here. That's what I'm talking about. We're going to look at it. Let me share this with you now. Hope you're having an awesome day. So if you go here, JPL's website, and you look at the database browser, I think we're on today here. So this is currently today where the comet is. It's outside of Mars. It's coming in quite fast. Play forward. Whoa, it gets pretty close to Mercury. My goodness. See how close that gets to Mercury? And then Venus. And then the tail. So we get hammered in the tail. All of the planets are going to get tagged with that. How far away was Comet Hale-Bopp? Because Comet Hale-Bopp had a tail of about 50 million kilometers. So what day are we at now? Because we're still getting tagged by the tail here. January of next year. We're in January of 2022. And as this thing's leaving, depending on which way the tail goes, it could affect all of us. All the planets. Now, this is a great article from ancient-origins.net. Ancient Comet Atlas measures half the size of the sun and its back. A huge icy space rock. It's currently in the constellation of Ursa Major in the northern sky, passing through the orbit of Mars. It has a trajectory with our sun, and it will progressively get brighter. Yeah, to the point of where we're going to be able to see it with our own eyes without even the need to use telescopes or binoculars. It flew by approximately 4000 BC. It was witnessed by Egyptian farmers, as well as the pharaohs, I'm sure, Neolithic tribes in Ireland, Scotland, Scandinavia, people from all over the world. And this was reported, and it was supposedly first spotted December 28th, 2019 by the Atlas system, which is asteroid terrestrial impact last alert system. So the comet's atmosphere measures 5 times the physical size of Jupiter, about half the size of the sun. Scientists say by the end of April, it will appear brighter than Venus. And some people think that this is the blue Kachina. It's posted a couple years ago. The story of the blue Kachina is a very old story that this gentleman has been aware of since he was young. He was told the story by his grandfathers, who are now between 80 and 108 years of age. He also wrote about the Sakwa the blue star Kachina, and the Book of the Hopi. The story came from Grandfather Dan, the oldest Hopi. So it then goes on to talk about how this blue Kachina would start to be seen at the dances. He would make his appearance known to the children in the plaza during the night dance. This event tells them the end times are near. The blue star Kachina would physically appear in the heavens, which would mean that we were in the end times. So then it goes on to say in the final days, you look up in the heavens and you witness the return of 2 brothers who helped create this world in the birthing time. Pokanhoya is the guardian of our North Pole, and his brother, Palangawoya, is the guardian of the South Pole. In the final days, the blue star Kachina will come to be with his nephews and will return the Earth to its natural rotation, which is counterclockwise. Now, this is a big deal right here, if this is true. This is saying that it's going to flip the Earth, and we're going to start spinning the other direction. That's a big deal. And if this was the original movement of the Earth, that's fascinating that now we're going back. You would think there's going to be a huge change for those that survive. And this talks about there being a transition, actually, a new age.
Cataclysm, or the great change, is going to take place. And they knew that everybody was going to be really dumb thousands of years from then. And not really dumb, just didn't care. They just knew no one was really going to care. These symbols all mean something, but we're going to focus on this. They narrowed it down to even let us know it would take place in the age of Aquarius, which is what we're in now as of last month. Well, it's February now, so as of January 2018. We've been in the age of Pisces, but now we're officially in the age of Aquarius. And that symbol there is the symbol for Aquarius. Charlie Brown shirt too, yeah? And on top of it, to narrow it down even further, the Egyptians told us, look out for the twin suns, the real Star Wars, which is Jupiter and Saturn. Jupiter represents space, Saturn represents time. The Masonic compass, the square and the compass. The compass represents the circle, which is time, and the square represents space. The twin suns, Jupiter and Saturn. Here's Baphomet holding up the twins, the 2 fingers, the twins. Pisces, Aquarius. Here's Jesus doing the same thing. The planetary symbol for the sun is this right here. And this is like I said, this is my favorite depiction. This is done by a culture named the Picts, P-I-C-T-S. They were called that because they were known as the tattooed people. And apparently they were so badass that even the Romans didn't want to mess with them. But here they are telling you the same thing. When space and time meet, this rip and tear in space and time is going to take place. Here's the Kundalini. Here's all the energy that apparently takes place whenever these two meet. And here's what's known as the cosmic serpent or the cosmic dragon, or as you can see right there in the middle, sometimes it's known as the cosmic age. It's the rebirth. It's something, it's the change. Everything's going to be done differently here soon. And this is going to take place in 2020. Great conjunction. A great conjunction is a conjunction of the planets Jupiter and Saturn. The last great conjunction took place on May 31st, 2000, so a year before 9/11, while the next one will be in late December 2020.
There are a multitude of petroglyphs that actually speak of the zodiac within the Mayan and Egyptian pyramids as well, all around the world. The Four Corners region is an amazing place to see this. So we've got a lot of amazing times ahead. Now, if we go back to, I'm going to read a little bit more of this. The return of the blue star Kachina who is also known as the Nanga Sohu, will be the alarm clock telling people of a new day, a new way of life, a new world that is coming. This is where the changes begin. Starting as fires that burn within us, which burn up with desires and conflict. And that's if you don't remember the original teachings. Now, a lot of us don't know these original teachings because we weren't told about them. So we have to find them ourselves. So this is talking about a return to the peaceful way of life. Not far behind, the twins will come the purifier, the red star Kachina. Now, this is where I'm trying to figure this out because it talked about the two brothers coming in, right? Is that talking about two planetary bodies? Or is that talking about two aspects in space that are protecting the north and south poles, astrotheologically, that are connected to the spiritual frequency as well, the spiritual archetype, the spiritual self? If this is talking about two objects, and then now we're looking at this comet that is like a bluish green that's coming in hot, massive. They just tell us about it a couple months ago, and it's very low on the media scale because most people are worried about the outbreak that's going on. And I understand, I get it. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. But if we take this to the other comet that they're telling you even less about, Comet C 2019 Y1, could that be its companion, the counterpart? And then what happens when the red Kachina comes in? That's when things really step up. So the purifier, the red star Kachina, brings the day of purification. That day, the earth, the inhabitants, the creatures, life as you know it will change forever. There's going to be messengers that come before this, leaving messages to those on earth who remember the old ways, or maybe those that have a desire to know about these ways. The messages are found in living stone, through the sacred grains, and even the waters. Crop circles have been found in ice. From the purifier will issue forth a great red light. All things will change in the manner of being. Every living thing will be offered the opportunity to change. If we go on to look at this in further detail, that's great. I mean, I'm glad that it says that because a lot of people are concerned with their DNA, with their heritage, with their religious beliefs. It's more about your consciousness, about who you are, where you're going, what you're doing, what you're searching, and what you're striving for. Wonderful. Those who return to the ways given to us in the original teachings will live a natural way of life and will not be touched by the coming of the purifier. They will survive and build the new world. Only in the ancient teachings will the ability to understand the message be found. Now, this is making me think about this digital age and the natives and the ancients. They were building stuff with the natural harmonics and energies of the earth and the universe and magnetism and the ley lines and specific energy spots versus digital and fuel that they're pulling out of the earth. You know, this ridiculous pushing away from self, going even further into a dense aspect of reality if you look at it on a vibrational level. Man, if this is that time, if we're going into a new age, the Hopi and many natives and others not from the Four Corners region describe this new age and this new coming of being. Some people think it's the fifth age. Some people think it's the fourth. Now, the third age, if I'm not mistaken, is the yellow age. The fourth age is the white, and the fifth is the glitter age. So if that's describing how the sun is connected to the atmosphere as well as our own sun within, an atmosphere around our own beings, you know, some people think the star, our sun, is going white, but maybe it's not the star itself. It's also the weakened magnetosphere, because I can look at the sun during a sunset and it's very yellow and orange, similar to how it used to look 25, 30 years ago.
Think about it, man. I mean, it's becoming beautiful and brighter. All right, but remember that link that we started with, the dragon comet, the comet dragon. What does it say? That night, she watched the comet dragons execute supersonic dives that ignited bright coronas of vaporizing ice. And we said, what's this corona got to do with things? And, like I said, I was going to do a whole nother, I still going to do I'm going to do a whole nother drop on this. But
hello, my name's Michael Keneally, and this video asks, is Comet Atlas the harbinger of the coronavirus epidemic? It's part of the several videos and blogs for our Star Wheel April 2020 Astrology and Healing newsletter. So basically, why I'm asking this is because the dates of Comet Atlas discovery and the date of when Comet Atlas reaches his perihelion, or brightest and most powerful in the heavens, correspond very closely with other dates I have identified as astrological energies producing the coronavirus epidemic. And it is noteworthy that at many major human events, positive and negative, the appearance of a comet has been considered a harbinger or a bringer of the event, or an indicator that a huge turn event is going to happen. So let's look at the dates and the energy of Comet Atlas. Well, Comet Atlas first appeared in the heavens on the 29th of December 2019, spotted by a robot, named by a robot, but perhaps named significantly. Now, this date for Comet Atlas first appearing in the heavens, December the 29th, is pretty well at the same time as the solar eclipse of the 26th of December, which was the same day as the discovery of the coronavirus by a doctor in Wuhan, China, on the day of that eclipse. And it's quite conceivable that the comet Atlas was visible on the day of that eclipse, but just wasn't noticed for another 3 days. Now, before I go any further into this presentation of really quite a striking and important astrological phenomena, I want to say that you can see all the charts I'm referring to on my Star Wheel Astrology 2020 webpage. So I've already said that Comet Atlas was discovered pretty well exactly the same time as the coronavirus was discovered, and pretty well exactly the same time as the solar eclipse of the 26th of December. But it looks to me like there's another coincidence of dates. You see, the date for the greatest visibility and power, the perihelion of Comet Atlas, is May the 20th, and this is the date when Rahu, the north node of the moon, leaves Ardra Nakshatra in Vedic Gemini. And so on that date, Rahu will be at 6 Vedic Gemini and will leave Ardra and enter Mrigashira. And the point is, Ardra is an implacable and formidable energy. And Rahu was in Ardra Nakshatra on the day of 9/11, the Twin Towers. So I've already said that I think Rahu in Ardra Nakshatra is a major delivering energy for the coronavirus epidemic. And in fact, I think the trigger for the manifestation was the solar eclipse of the 26th of December. But I'm now doing this blog to say that I think the actual Harbinger is the word usually used of the whole coronavirus thing, which summarizes the various astrological energies, and there are a couple more, is actually Comet Atlas. I've already said that Comet Atlas was discovered pretty well exactly the same time as the coronavirus was discovered, and pretty well.
And right quick, remember, he just said discovered by a robot, named by a robot. Now, why would a robot name this dragon Atlas? Why would an AI connect this dragon to Atlantis, which connects to Abaddon, or the star Wormwood, right? Getting the keys to the bottomless pit, which connect with the halls of Mente, which connect with Thoth, Apollo, Apollyon, right? Why would an AI robot connect this particular comet, star with a tail, with Apollyon, with Apollo, with Atlas, with Atlantis, with Abaddon? And why are they freaking out? And why are they, wanting to control us so suddenly, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of, we wonder if this is a pump fake, if they're gonna make it go back to normal and then come with some other shit. I ain't gonna take up too much of your time. Let's go. You already know the definition of a dragon, right? They got the whole winged serpent situation, and they got the shooting meteor situation. It's not just us that's digging on it. They put it in the dictionary. The first official dictionary of the hijack, 1828 Noah Webster Dictionary, my nigga, right? This is the Noah Webster Dictionary, American Dictionary, English Language, 1828, my nigga. And right there, they're telling you it's a fiery shooting meteor. And when you hear meteor, you best believe we talking cometas, we talking comets, right? We are talking comets that are not distinguished from meteors. Let's get this through our head bone. So they throw their language around, the lingua franca, you know what I mean? But when they're talking meteors, we're just talking comets, and when we're talking the Comet Atlas, you know what I mean? And I want y'all to understand, right, that these dragons have been compared to meteors and comets for a long time. And Elizabeth Warner is bringing that out. And specifically, she goes in on the Zhrenevsky's Dictionary of Old Russian, which covers the usage in the medieval period, has no entries for meteor or comet. So what was it called before it was called a meteor or comet? And this is what's going to break it open for you. So you know when they talk the Comet Atlas, we're talking a dragon. Now, whether this dragon, is on this side of the war or that side of the war, we'll see, right? But it appears to be matching up with some things that we can connect, and we know it's all happening according to the Creator's will. So, we feel our freedom coming. I mean, we taking a couple steps. We starting to see clearly. You know what I mean? We starting to see clearly. Starting to get that Dracan flow, Dracan Quan. Let's go. Which covers the usage of the medieval period, has no entries for meteor or comet as such, but does have one for star with a tail. So when you look at the original sources that should have the earliest mentions of meteor or comet, there is no mention of meteor or comet. It's simply called star with a tail, my knock. Star with a tail, my knock. All right? Star with a tail. Star with a tail. What else? Which is defined as a comet or cometa Vladimir Dahl's etymological dictionary of the great Russian language, one of the most authoritative dictionaries. So let's talk about one of the most authoritative dictionaries, the Vladimir Dahl's etymology. Then Moses has to literally conjure up a dragon, and whoever this dragon breathes on or bites, if you look up, what I'm saying, the, etymology and the breakdown of, how they're using these words, how they're translating, bites, whoever it bites. Bites also is to sting, like a burning sensation, like a sting. So instead of saying whoever the snake bites, you can translate it as whoever the dragon burns or stings. Gets life, not death, my noggin. Gets life, my noggin. Gets life. So the dragon's bringing life, but what's the serpent? I'm just, connecting this for the brand new wave surfers, and then we're going to get into this Comet Atlas. Hold up. What's the serpent? First of all, etymology, we got Seraph, all right. What's the dragon? You remember, to see clearly. So we're all, attempting to see clearly and have a clear picture over here. No one's claiming to know it all or know. I said it. They said it seems to have a nucleus, right? And the surrounding area forms something like a tail, beard, or tangled locks, my not. So we're not just talking about some inanimate, space rock, Comet Atlas. I don't care what pictures they show you. They ain't talking about no space rocks, man. Not now. They saying it's half the size of Jupiter. Notice how they keep throwing Jupiter in there. Half the size of Jupiter. We're gonna get some drop. But you been surfing the wave, or just reconning this Atlas thing. They keep saying half the size of Jupiter. Who's Jupiter? Jupiter is Zeus in Greek mythology, right? Jupiter is Zeus. He's Zeus, Jesus, Isus, you know what I mean? They never stop worshiping Jupiter. They never stop worshiping Jesus or, Zeus. It's the same frequency. That's why brothers that know, you know what I'm saying? There is no J and the New Testament, you know what I'm saying, ain't linking back to our indigenous sources, you know what I'm saying? Still gotta call on Jesus or Christ, no matter how many Christ there are. Stephen the Christ, David the Christ, Caesar is the Christ, but they still want to push a format as if there's one Christ, one Son. They say in this Comet Atlas is half the size of Jupiter. Well, who's Zeus's seed, right? Who's Zeus's son or his half, right? Apollo, Atlas, Poseidon. According to mythology, Greek mythology, but Poseidon and Zeus are brothers, something like that. Poseidon and Zeus are brothers, sons of Kronos. Poseidon's son is Atlas, right? Atlas is the king of Atlantis, right? First king of Atlantis. Atlantis is plural of Atlas. So we don't deal with no Atlantis because we know it's going directly to their wannabe Supernaga pantheon, which none of their Supernaga. Here we go right here. The Akkadian language translates to crossing. Right? Point of transition, my naga. So something about this Nibiru has something to do with transition, especially of rivers. Come on, man. You talking about Exodus, my nigga? Exodus? Now we know that the creator's in control, especially of these hijacks, or else he wouldn't be getting the keys. You give him the key, man. Right? Now they're saying the creator's giving him the keys to his little area, right? His apollo. What does destruction mean? You already know though. Now they also call this the destroyer. What else is it tied to? What else is tied to Nibiru? We've been talking about Jupiter, right? We've been talking about Jesus, right? Jesus. What else is tied to Nibiru? They say Jesus gonna return. Jesus gonna return. Let's see if they give it to us here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Refer to it as Mercury? Nibiru is also Jupiter? Body bag down. I can't make this shit up, man. Nibiru is Jupiter. .org. Back to that set, right? I mean, SETI, set, Atlas, all this has to do with Atlantis, my nigga. As the comet gets closer to the sun, right? Everybody's freaking out. What's going to happen when this Thoth returns? Right? And you know, Thoth works for the creator, right? Because even in Job, you got Job, Satan, the trickster, right? Mercury, the trickster, Satan, trickster, adversary. Got it. All right. Mercury, Thoth is your Satan, my naga. He's walking to and fro in the book of Job. And Hawa says, hey, man, what you up to, man? I mean, where you been? And he said, oh, man, I've been walking to and fro, jamming people up. Okay, man, well, and then they just go on with the meeting, talk about things, the next point of business. There wasn't no war between Thoth and the creator or Satan, the adversary, the trickster, all right? There was no war. He's the goon. And at the end of the day, the creator let him rock. You know what I mean? To create his dualities, to create his synthetic simulation bullshit, his matrix, all this shit, to invert shit, just to put us, just to put us to the proof, man. He's the goon of our father's house, right? This thought, this adversary, I don't bring it up so we can have some hatred towards this. We'll put some energy of hatred out. Nah, at the end of the day, he works for you. He works for us. But if we're out of order, this duality business, this situation, this Atlantis hijack energy frequency, these false gods. Rule number one, no idols. Rule number one, don't put no power before your power. So he's here to put you to the test. He's here to bring all the powers at your ass. Hit you with all the powers. And you got to remain true, man. Don't bend the knee. You know what I'm saying? Don't bend the knee. Let's go. Whatever this Atlas Thoth dragon coming, ain't against us. You know what I'm saying? It's restoring something. It's, there's something divine or connected with the purpose. There's a purpose to it. You know what I mean? So we ain't got to trip on it. It's a purpose to it. Trust me. Let's go. Wow, wow, la, wow. All right, so this comet's growing closer to the sun. That's another thing they keep saying. This dragon is going closer to the sun, so it must be charging up, right? But who's the sun? I mean, let's go. So 1/4 of a distance from the Earth to the sun, maybe coronavirus has everything to do with these plagues, the saint of plagues and infectious diseases, coronavirus, my naga. Worship from March until May. And now we got this Atlas coming, this Mercury, this Thoth. The same celestial body as Apollo or Abaddon. getting the keys to the bottomless pit, right? Abaddon, the destroyer, right? A place of destruction. Their hell, their heaven, their hell. And Nubaru, which is also referred to as Mercury. And Jupiter. Does this crossing have anything to do with the tau hitting the mark, the sign, the completion? The tau, the last letter of the Hebrew is the tau, the cross sticks. We're just surfing the wave, man. What's that? It's getting quite linky. Oh yeah. We're gonna get that. We're gonna get that. All right, yeah. Let's finish this out. So wow, yeah. Very wow, right? Let's go.